Alright divers, welcome back to the channel. It's LtBuzzLitebeer, and despite some furious cross-galaxy fighting, the Illuminate cannot be stopped, but it appears to have no consequences, at least for the time being. We also need to cover some hidden vehicle features, issues with the free Killzone rollouts, Illuminate time zones, and a look ahead to 2025. The channel has rocketed past 250k, and it just keeps moving. Again, thanks to you. Now, if you're looking to support the channel, my ask of you would be to hit subscribe. You see, when you do so, it sends a note to YouTube that people are liking the content, and so it recommends the channel and content even more. Likes, comments, and shares do much the same, and don't forget to ring that notifications bell and set it to receive all alerts, or you can miss my latest video. And now it's time for a rare Sunday upload as we check in on all the latest from Helldivers.
Estamos failure.
Yesterday was a wild day for sure, as we got to notice that the Helldivers had successfully completed our first major order versus the Illuminate, including an unwinnable battle on Calypso, surprising even the studio, when the Helldiver forces rallied and pulled that one off with minutes to spare. Yesterday, we launched into a new 3.5-day major order back over in bug territory, involving both Fenrir 3 and Errata Prime, while also eyeing the Illuminate as they continue to probe our defenses and specialize in hit-and-run attacks. As it stands right now, Fenrir 3 has nearly been liberated, although despite having decent diver numbers there, we are facing a stiff 2% rate. Much the same on Errata Prime, although our numbers there are significantly lower, but that same 2% is staring us in the face, slowing our progress, and allowing the other factions, like the Automatons and the Illuminate, to enjoy less resistance. Speaking of the squid, they finally got a chance yesterday to do something substantial against the Helldivers over on Elysian Meadows, but dusted off as soon as that battle was over, leaving the planet still under Super Earth control. Now, as of this morning, they are back and on Osupsum with a level 9 invasion, and I think we're finally seeing the effects of taking on 3 factions simultaneously. We've got divers that just want to take on the new content versus the Illuminate. We've got others that are trying to chase the major order. We've got bug divers, bot divers. Yeah, we've got it all right now, and I foresee this getting even tougher in the future when, say, we've got a full-scale Illuminate invasion major order, and then we get attacked by the bots or bugs, pulling some of our forces away to hold that line. At this point, we've got a little over 2 days to complete the current major order, with some suspecting something big waiting at the end of that timer, as it puts it right at Christmas. So I guess we'll see. Let me know if you think the Illuminate will finally break through the Meridian wormhole and mount what we all expect to be a full-scale invasion on Christmas, or are you thinking something different's about to go down? Sound off and leave me a comment. The daily or personal order, besides hitting subscribe and ringing that notifications bell, is to get 40 kills with the Eagle Cluster Bomb. And to be honest, I don't use this stratagem all that much. It's probably best to hit bug POIs and just rack up the kill counts on the smaller chaff. And once you do, expect to pocket 15 medals. Over to an issue I know a lot of you have been experiencing lately, and it surrounds the jump pack and ragdolling. And we can see it here that it is a known issue, as it shows under the new issues category from the Arrowhead Zendesk webpage. Now, I actually tried tinkering around with this just a bit, and what I found is that I personally wasn't seeing issues wearing light or medium armor, but when I equipped a heavy set, that's when I first started to see it, which is what many players do by pairing the heavy armor for the sustain with the jump pack for enhanced mobility. The issue didn't seem to show up when landing on level ground, but if I touched down, say, around a rock or something like that, it was 50-50 if I would ragdoll or not, so it may have something to do with the weight, as in the armor class being used. I'm theorizing here, so don't take this next portion as facts, but what I personally started doing is 2 things you may want to try out. Now, the first is that I released the boost button. For me on PC, that's the space bar, just slightly before I touched down. The other thing I started doing was pressing the back key, S on PC, as I was done with the jump and my feet were back on solid ground. I can't say that it worked 100% of the time for me, and it feels a little unnatural to press backwards when I really wanted to continue my momentum, but it did work for me, and it may do the same for you. If you are a pack user, let me know if this helped out. Maybe it did nothing, maybe it made it worse, that sort of thing, and I will do my best to read and respond to your feedback. Moving along, and it appears that not everyone has seen the free Killzone swag that released a few days ago due to inactivity or being brand new to Helldivers. Now, B Vitamin responded to both of these questions with this. The free Page 2 Killzone stuff should have been sent to all active accounts. If you didn't get it, the most likely case is one of these two things. First, your account was inactive. If you haven't launched Helldivers 2 in a couple of months, the system didn't give it to accounts which were inactive at the moment the items were dispatched. So if you haven't played for a while but logged in after you heard that we were giving it away, that would likely be why you didn't receive anything. And the second thing is, it also isn't given to new accounts who signed up after it was sent out. The system gave it to all current active accounts, similar to how major order payouts work. I don't know if they want to change that or not yet. There has been some talk, but it's end of day Friday, so I won't know until Monday at the earliest. Personally, I'd like to see every player who owns Helldivers receive the content, but I also understand how Arrowhead kind of has this thing set up, which, as they stated, is the same format as major order rewards. Now, if you haven't been active for a couple of months, the system thinks you are AFK and it just moves along. Maybe Arrowhead can put a system in place where players that have been away for extended periods can submit a ticket with the reason and possibly get a retro reward? Still, this hasn't stopped some players from reaching out to support for help, citing the inability to log in during the collaboration period, and instead, the rewards are being sent out based on if they've logged in during the last few months, to which we saw this response from B Vitamin: "The decisions aren't up to me." Continuing on, and divers are still experiencing a few different performance and network issues, and I did want to mention one that I see almost every time Arrowhead pushes an update to the live game. It seems like there's always a file that does not make it into the install. I believe it has to do with the nprotect anti-cheat, and it causes my game to crash. Now on Steam, it's a matter of going into my game page, clicking the gear icon on the far right side, scrolling down to Properties, Installed Files, and finally, Verify Integrity of Game Files. Now the game runs through all of the game's installed files and will identify whatever is missing, download, and install it. At this point, I don't even wait for the game to crash. If Arrowhead makes an update to the game, I know to instantly verify those files. Next up, let's check in on the FRV, or Fast Recon Vehicle, and some of the hidden features. I don't know, maybe we can even call them secret features. But anyways, these are things this vehicle has built in you can't see on the keybind page because, number one, they aren't listed there, and number two, most PC players wouldn't look there anyways because we currently can't rebind the controls. Now, the first one is fairly well known, but the FRV is actually a manual transmission vehicle, but you can still drive it like an automatic using the W key for forwards and the S key for reverse, and the vehicle will switch itself between those two based on player inputs. I've also been reading how players are talking about how wild the FRV is to control, and here's something you may want to try out. The Control and Shift keys can be used to manually switch between the gears. Control to move the selector to the left, and Shift to move it to the right. Leaving the FRV in D for drive will give you the most speed, but it also makes the vehicle the most difficult to control. So instead, experiment with tapping Shift just a few times and moving the selector all the way to the right for gear 2. It's still fast, and you'll find it much easier to control. I also wanted to mention that if you are a passenger, you can press the aim down sights button to step out of the FRV and stand on the side rails, giving you the ability to fire your weapon. But be careful here, divers, because if you happen to clip anything in the terrain, it will ragdoll you straight off the vehicle. And if you shoot just wildly and out of control, you could hit your fellow Helldivers or the vehicle itself. Cross-vehicle firing is especially dangerous and results in heavy casualties. But here's those hidden or secret features not many players know about, starting off with the fact this thing has a horn. That's right, the FRV has a horn. Now on PC, it is mapped to the F key, which I personally rebound for stems, so that doesn't quite work out the way I want, but you can still roll up on your fellow divers and honk the horn at them, which many times will surprise the hell out of them. Also, by pressing the X key on PC, you can toggle the headlights, and I honestly don't know why this is a thing, but you can do it. It has 3 modes: full dark, low beams, and high beams. But if you get out of the vehicle and look, you'll see that the headlight visuals on the very front of the vehicle never turn off. So you can actually have this set to full dark and still see the lights on when you look directly at the front of the vehicle. Pressing C on PC will allow you to swap seats, which is really handy if you want to switch to the other side of the vehicle to do some shooting. However, this is restricted to what row you were currently sitting in, so no moving from the front seats to the rear seats or moving to the rear-mounted gun emplacement, which can only be done from the outside of the vehicle. And finally, for all you drift junkies, the FRV has a handbrake, which you can use by pressing the spacebar. Now, it locks up the rear axle only, but if you time it right, you can quickly spin the FRV 180 degrees to get a better angle on, say, some enemy targets or to reverse course in short order. Yeah, let me know if any of these were new to you. Did you know about all of them? Maybe some, none of them? And also, maybe some of my PlayStation viewers can translate the features over to what buttons you use on controller, because that would be useful to know. And quickly, a follow-up to the Illuminate Timezone conflict topic I touched on in yesterday's video involving players not able to log on during midday and therefore missing the opportunity to take on the Illuminate, who had already bounced off of whatever planet they were attacking, with the suggestion being made to possibly alter those daily attack times so that everyone got an opportunity to take on the squid. And we did see game director Safez respond to this question in the Discord with this: "It's good feedback. I don't have an answer right now, but I'll let Joel know at least." Now, overall, it sounds like a pretty good suggestion because from what I've been reading, there are players that can't log on during normal business hours and have yet to see or fight against a single Illuminate target, which is a damn travesty. And finally, GameRant took the opportunity to speculate on what Helldivers has in store for players come 2025, as the studio has already said they are, quote, very committed to keep going with this game for many years to come. And GameRant's thinking here is that this is going to revolve around 2 proven mechanics. These are the safe choices, to be honest: Premium Warbonds and Factions. Now, in terms of Warbonds, it's what we've come to expect: boosters, stratagems, etc. But GameRant did touch on the fact that Arrowhead has started introducing melee weapons into the game. Now, with Urban Legends, we got the Stun Lance, and in the Superstore, we also got the opportunity to purchase the Stun Baton. And the thought here is that there's a ton of headroom for Arrowhead to kind of go wild with options. And I know a lot of you love to talk melee, so drop me a comment and let us all know what melee weapon you want to see in Helldivers come 2025. The second part of this article is very short, and it focuses in on the introduction of the Illuminate and the speculation that Arrowhead may take this new year to drop in a new, previously unseen faction. But they do, however, cite it took the studio nearly 10 months to give us the Illuminate, who returned from HD1. A couple of items I'd also like to expand on and tack on to this GameRant article, and these are just my thoughts here, they're not included in this post, but I would also expect us to see more collab efforts in 2025, as the studio has already spoken about how a Starship Troopers, Aliens, or Warhammer collab would be awesome for them. We now have the Voteless, so a Horde-style zombie mode might not be lore accurate, but I would bet players would eat that shit up. More vehicles seem to be a lock for 2025, and I know I've seen that many of you want a squad-controlled tank. Also a social hub, possibly on a reworked version of the DSS, would be epic. We still need weapon and armor customization. We still need a major progression overhaul, clans, and a greatly expanded in-game currency system to spend and donate our resources on for more than just the Democracy Space Station. Still, not a bad start to Helldivers 2, right? As was supported by all the achievements and awards and just sheer number of players who signed up for a life of managed democracy. Make sure to leave me a comment about anything Helldivers related, and I'll do my best to respond. Remember to hit subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss one of my future upload alerts. All my socials, including links to all of today's sources, can of course be found down in the video description below. 250,000 subscribers was the goal by year's end, and that has already been achieved. So it's on to the next milestone, 500,000. As I said earlier, the easiest and best way to support this channel and content like this is to hit subscribe, because when you do, it activates YouTube's antenna and it promotes this channel and video to even further reaches across the entire platform. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.